Well, a radical time coming up for the standardbred breeding industry with the May sale for New Zealand bloodstock standardbred going online on Gavel House. We're here at Alabar today to check out their weanlings. Graeme is the boss at Alabar, and it's a different type of sale, but there's still plenty of very good stock on offer.
Absolutely, it's exactly the same sort of consignment we always put up, but just with the issues in the world, the sale had to be cancelled, so we've gone to gavelhouse.com and selling them online. But it's a great opportunity to buy a high quality group of horses, and it's just being via a different vehicle. But there's a lot of positives to it. Everyone can be involved because it's online. And we're lucky with New Zealand going to level 2 last week that we were able to have the inspection day today. So we've had a great turnout. We've had about 40 odd people here today, all keeping their social distancing, but getting an opportunity to see the horses. There's been a lot of photos taken, a lot of FaceTiming going on with clients overseas to show them. So no, it's really quite optimistic about it.
When somebody looks at the rather large draft from Alabar, people would think, why do you sell so many horses as weanlings? But of course, that's part of your business plan because the stud is so busy at a time of the year when you would usually be preparing horses for the yearling sales.
Absolutely, it's a timing issue. We want to breed horses to support the industry, but the best way for us to sell them is as weanlings, so that this time of year it's quieter in terms of it's away from the stud season. But we think it's a great opportunity for other people as well. A lot of the weanlings we've got in here, we showed people today, are Vic bred eligible, so they're eligible for the Victorian size stakes, which I think is a big advantage for Australians, particularly with the new sales company in Australia now no longer requiring Australian brand on the neck of yearlings. There's a good opportunity for Australians to pick out Vic bred eligible weanlings that they can sell in their yearling sale over there next April out of some tremendous New Zealand families.
Let's talk about pin hooking, because when people think of weanlings, they often think of pin hooking. Has that been a success for people in the past who have tried to buy horses here and then go on to sell them again in 8 or 9 months?
There has been quite a few people pin-hooked weanlings off us, and they've done fairly well out of it. The sale has certainly produced some weanlings that have gone on to sell for really good money at the yearling sale. But the majority of the people who buy from us are just buying the horses for themselves. A lot of the trainers see this as a more economic way to buy their stock, and the exciting thing about this year's consignment is that it features the first crop of Vincent. Vincent was a superstar himself and just an absolute masterpiece of an individual, and people have been really thrilled with the weanlings he's leaving, and having the weanling sale for us is a really great opportunity to showcase those new sires. And I think Vincent has done incredibly well out of the sale because people have seen what lovely types they are, what great walkers they are. It'd be really nice if it reflects in the prices they sell for, but it's been a wonderful opportunity for us to showcase a horse we're really excited about.
Well, Graeme, I suppose it's like having 57 odd kids and trying to pick your favourite one out of them, but one of the more commercial horses is clearly going to be the brother to Alta Maestro. I think the other sibling sold last year for around $75,000. Family that gets up and runs early. I would presume that'll be one of the more popular lots from Alabar.
Yes, he's a lovely horse. He's an art major out of Alta Camilla, so a full brother to Alta Maestro, and a wonderful pedigree behind him. He belongs to Tony Dickinson at Alta Breeding, so we're selling on behalf of Tony, but he's a lovely horse. The colt we sold last year was a beautiful horse, but this guy has got a bit more scope to him to grow into a bigger type of horse, and I think we've had a lot of foals here out of that mare, and I think he's as good as any of them, so he's a lovely one. We've also got when we took the photos, we photographed all the horses, and the one that really stood out to me by the photo was an Always Be Mickey colt out of Armour Nightingale. I think he's just got a beautiful head on him. And another one that the highlights to me was 2 of the Vincent fillies. We've got a Vincent filly here out of a full sister to Monkey King, who's just a lovely filly that looks like a colt in a number of ways. And we've also got a Vincent filly out of Alta Serena, who won the Easter Cup and won $500,000. This will be the last foal out of Alta Serena, so a really good opportunity to buy a beautiful filly out of a great mare who's not going to have any more foals.
Talking about fillies, we've got one who's closely related to Star Galleria, out of a family which produces high-speed horses and therefore is also related to Self Assured.
Absolutely, she's not a big filly, but she's by Art Major out of Starlit Night, so she's a full sister to Star Galleria, and she's also a half sister to the mother of Self Assured. Been a wonderful family, but there's very few fillies in the family. Starlit Night has only ever had one filly before, and that's the dam of Self Assured. She'll have no more foals. This is her last one, so it's a great opportunity to buy a filly with a lot of residual value. Like I say, she's not a big filly, but you look through that family, a lot of those really good mares have been not that big, Star of Bethlehem and Starlit Night herself, but it's just a tremendous family when it's close up in the pedigree is Lazarus, and she's a half sister to the dam of Self Assured and a full sister to Star Galleria, so in any yearling sale in the world that would stack up as a really good pedigree.
If somebody's watching this and they're online on Gavel House and they like the look of a weanling but they're not quite sure and they can't get there to see the horse, they can't come and see the horse, they might be in Australia or the South Island, what can they do? Can they ring you? Can they ring the staff? Can they ring a vet? How can they find out more about the Alabar draft after watching the videos and looking at the photos?
Well, one of the big attractions today is that there's been a really good representation of trainers, and I think anyone that's involved in horses in New Zealand or Australia has some relationship with some of the well-known trainers in New Zealand, and there was about 30 trainers here today, so I would suggest that if anyone's interested they can contact me, and then I could tell them some of the trainers that were here and they could say, oh yeah, hey, I know him, I'll give him a ring to see what he thought. But the other side of it is that Cam Bray was here from New Zealand Bloodstock today and he took notes on every single yearling, every single weanling I should say, so certainly contacting Cam would be a good way to find out some more about a weanling from an independent person.
Let's talk reserves, let's talk money. For people who are looking at bidding on one of these horses and they have a week to do so, how has Alabar come about their reserve figures, and are we talking large reserves? Are we talking what's around about the stallion fee? What sort of money are we talking here, Graeme?
The reserves vary according to the horse. Obviously the first thing you take into consideration is the stallion they're by, and we're always going to respect the stallions and not be too cheap on our reserves. But then we also appreciate that sometimes that the other side of the pedigree or the individual involved has an effect on the reserve as well. But I don't think anyone will be disappointed in the reserves we put on. It's not a fire sale, so we're not giving these horses away, but we've got a record of selling our horses, and that part of selling your horses is putting realistic reserves on. At last year's weanling sale we had 100% clearance rate. You don't get 100% clearance rate by having lofty reserves, but they will be realistic, but don't think people will be disappointed by any means.